Have you ever got a text from somebody who clearly had the wrong number, but you played along with it just to have fun? It could be a great thing. This is the story of how I accidentally met my wife. A few years ago, while I was in college, I got a long text message from a girl that seemed pretty upset at me for something one night. I was confused as I had never heard of her before, and I responded with a kind of funny answer. It turns out that she was mad at another person with my name, PJ, that was in her phone, which actually used to be her sister's phone who I used to work with. That's why she had it in her contact list. We ended up laughing about it. We became friends. And then a few months later, I went through kind of a bad breakup from the relationship that I was in my young 20s. And I ended up talking to this girl again, and we began to date not long after that. He dated for a whole entire month, and then it fell apart. We were both pretty young and still had a lot of growing up to do. We broke up. I was definitely not very mature at that point, and she wasn't either. Anyways, life moves on. I finished college, moved to a different city than my hometown, which was about 86 miles apart from each other. I got a decent job, and I started to live my adult life. About 5 years later, I was single once again, and sure enough, me and this girl began to talk once again. I've been talking to her a little bit, just friendly. I came back to my hometown one night to visit, and I actually ran into her in person somewhere. We ended up hanging out, ended up talking almost the entire night together, and it was in the middle of the winter, and it was freezing outside. Talking to her that night made me realize how much she had changed, and I liked it. I liked her voice. We kept hanging out for the next few months. Then, 1 week before the 4th of July, she goes into labor. I was there visiting on a Friday night, and I was going to stay with her for the weekend, and her water breaks. So we go to the hospital very late on Friday night. She gave birth to a beautiful, beautiful baby girl, our daughter Paisley, 36 hours later at the end of the weekend on July 2nd. I was there for the entire experience. Her and her family let me, who had only been hanging out with her for about a month and a half or so at that point, actually be a part of this process. So up to this point, I knew that I had to seriously think about my future. When our daughter was born, I knew that I would never ever leave them. I mean, you don't look into your child's face and ever imagine that you would walk away from that. So we kept on dating, and we raised our newborn baby in different cities. I finally convinced her to move in with me in my town, which may seem crazy, but love is at some times, my friends. Thanksgiving of that year, I asked her to marry me in front of her whole entire family, and she said yes. So my friends, in conclusion, the most bizarre wrong number conversation I have ever had introduced me to the love of my life, my wife, and the mother of my daughters. Yeah, we have another daughter now. It was by far the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. That is how I accidentally met my wife. Thanks for watching.